we have talked. It'll come back. It just takes the 15 seconds, feels like 2 years. There,
That's okay.
we're back. Hi.
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 And now everybody else is with us. Yay.
Yay. Welcome, everybody.
All right, so this is Webinars with Wendy, and I'm not even going to bother doing an introduction because these guys, probably everybody knows, Sharon and Laura Wilsie, and they do horse speak, and we have not talked in...
Too long.
Too long.
Huh?
Has it been a year?
I would have to go back and look, but it feels like it. You guys have been wicked busy and like not returning my calls.
You're not the only one, and we apologize greatly for that.
All right. Tell us what you have been up to this past year.
What haven't we been up to?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
you moved to the farm. Let's see. You had moved. I knew you had moved.
Yeah.
3 years. It's already been 3 years.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
I know. That's the thing. It's like, what has happened? Life is in fast forward. That's what has happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think for us, actually, one of the biggest highlights we had last year, we did a bunch of traveling in Germany. We were in Holland, but we were featured at the Mustang Makeover,
in Germany,
which was pretty amazing. In Aachen, Germany, up in the north.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was really a neat experience.
Mm-hmm.
We did some demos. They're actually on YouTube. So if anyone wanted to check those out.
What is your YouTube channel?
It's Sharon Wilsie.
Okay.
And so then you can look up, Horse Speak, Mustang Makeover, Germany. And you can check out the 2 demos that we did with Mustangs we met for the first time.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah,
4 really Mustang mares at Liberty, and the other was 2 in hand. And so that was just...
Were they horses that were in the contest or just other Mustangs?
No, they're previous contest horses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they fly these Mustangs over to Germany for this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
It's a fascinating thing.
How long do they have to make over?
I don't know.
6 or 9 months.
Yeah. They have some time, but to me, not enough time. Really.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Let's not go down that road.
We're going to switch our time on that topic.
Switch channel. But it was, I was like 3 days into having a tear in my MCL, in my knee. And so I was in a brace, and we had prepared, there was a wheelchair for me at the Mustang Makeover in case I needed it.
Okay.
I was hobbling around on a cane and, put the cane down so that I could be present with the horses. And so we had no whips, no ropes, no nothing. And I'm hobbling around. And so it was me and Laura. And it worked. It went so well. And in a cool way, it was even more believable because I was limited. And so it's like, this is why this was developed. Like, we developed this because, I've always had physical limitations and asthma and all kinds of things. And I needed to use my brain, not brawn, to work out issues with horses at the rescues that I was working at. And I was like, well, I know you can run around and build up the dust and do all that. I can't do that. And so I have to be smarter about what I'm doing. And so that's one of the reasons to get interested in Microgestures was because I needed a different tactic. So it was really cool at the Mustang Makeover because if we didn't know what we know and weren't able to do what we do, and it was 100 degrees on top of it. It was like so hot.
It's never that hot. And what the heck?
I know. So it was just a really tough time, but it was great. Mm-hmm. And it's great footage. And, we meet these 4 loose mares that we've never met before. One was, there's one big paint who was recent addition to this herd. So I don't know her story. I know nothing about any of them.
She was only with that herd, I think it was 5 weeks or something. Yeah. So really new. Then bring her into this huge event, so it was amazing. The breakthroughs that we had with them in 30 minutes was profound. And what, like Sharon just said, with her hobbling around, it was fantastic. So it was a great take for horse speak.
Right.
And the second round was we assumed that we were going to work with the same group of horses, but then there was not that happening. And there was a big thing there's a big arena with like 8,000 folks can be there. And they had this big show with all the Mustangs or something. And we're like, whatever, we don't know what's happening. We're just like ready to do our demo. And we have a mare, and she was
in that
we were getting ready to go in. And then all of a sudden somebody came riding one of the Mustangs, high-headed, and ended up bolting right into the arena
that we were supposed to go in. It just panicked.
It just panicked and went through this door. And they were like, okay.
Oh.
So we're like, I went and I was like, I touched them, greeted really fast, follow me button, let's go, I'll get you out of here. And the nervous system of that horse was so up. And when I touched, it was one of those moments, I'm sure most people who've been around horses have had it. You get like hijacked and you get zapped by all this energy that runs through your nervous system. And so I'm like, okay, this is a great way to start off a demo with an already stressed out mare that, you know, I've been talking to for like 5 seconds. So I get that mare, or whoever, I don't know if it was a gelding or mare, out of the door, out of the way, get on with the mare I'm supposed to be working with. Sharon, then this gelding shows up. We're like, oh, we're working with him too?
I'm like, I'm hobbling around. I can't really just take him. And
yeah.
So the owner stayed with him.
Don't you just love doing demos in foreign countries?
Love it.
Yeah.
It was great. It actually was really great. It was great. The owner stayed with him, and she got so much out of it, you know, and I was able to, she spoke enough English. It was great.
Oh, good.
And I was able to coach her through just some basics of helping him feel safe. I mean, the bottom line, this last couple of years, the webinars we produced because we travel abroad so much, and I got to spend a lot of time with the Conic in this place in the Netherlands, so it's a fantastic wild herd of horses with stallions, like the Tarpon herd that we've been to. They keep the stallions separate for reasons. And so this is amazing because we got a lot of footage, and we have been able to do deeper research into sort of organic, natural horse communication, because we can film everything and then we can go analyze it later. Yeah. And because of that, you know, a lot of the emphasis over the past couple of years has been more and more on how important it is for horses to be able to hear from you that the environment that they're in is safe. It's like it's really simple, but they're just like, how are they supposed to know that this box that you want them to go into is a safe place to be? And yet when you study the wild horses, they have a precise way of managing their safety and protection. And then you see that codified in the domestic horses. And of course, it changes a little bit because domesticity is a little different, but it's the same basic message. And so we've been really exemplifying that core message of protection and safety as like the rule number one. And it has changed everything because there was a lot of things that we were doing. You know, you do all these unconscious things, and then people say, why do you do that unconscious thing? And you go, oh, I guess I should make that conscious. And so it turns out a lot of the unconscious things we were doing was trying to help horses be more safe and protected. Yeah. But now we know the exact and specific messages that they need and want. And so with these Mustangs, it was really cool because that's all we did. We just went in and said, you're safe, you're protected, I've got your back. And they turned around and said, oh, hi, well, who are you? And it was like that. Mm-hmm. So that's the really cool thing, I think, for people also who like to work with Mustangs, because they feel like they're more raw, they're more authentic. They're not, you know, there's just something more wilderness about them. And so being able to have Mustangs turn around and say, oh, yes, thank you. I feel safe and protected now. I'll follow you.
Right. And with that, the mare that I ended up working with, and she was to what we would call X, not zero, not calm. The owner wasn't able to navigate with this horse. So I took her, and when I got her, and after I had been hijacked in my nervous system, I said, look, I'm not okay right now, and you're not okay, but we'll get through this together. I have some skills, and we will do this, and we'll get calm. Trust me. And so it was really fantastic to go into the arena and touch some objects and breathing and just do the messages and understanding one of the key things that has been so fascinating. So if anyone who is listening goes and checks out these couple demos and how we have the arena set up, it's not perfect how we would actually want it, but it was a close enough. There's a buffer zone basically like about 3 feet from your fence line, any enclosure, but along the wall is the buffer zone. And so
the protector horse walks in the buffer zone. And you watch this, like, because we're still doing our club, right? And people will send in a video, and you'll see 2 horses go to the edge of the buffer zone, and one puts the foot in it. And the other horse, if they agree, they just go, all right, you've got it. You've got the job of protector, tail swish.
I watched it today with Rocky and Mummy.
Yep.
Like, because Rocky is our protector. Mummy was there, and she got a little bit stressed for a second, and he stepped in beyond her because she was like 4 feet away from the fence line. He stepped right into the fence line, and he's like, I've got this, and then walked the fence line as the protector. So it's really neat, especially when you watch horses go out into a paddock or anywhere for the first time in the day, and to see who goes along the edge.
Yeah, that's your protector. And you may have a horse who's doing the job who doesn't like the job or isn't good at the job. And
or steps in the buffer zone and runs away. They're like, I'm not the protector, actually. So it's been really neat to then we go in from the buffer zone to the flow zone. So while we're in the buffer zone, the human takes the wall.
Right. With or without the horse. The horse doesn't even have to be attached to you. You just walk the wall, and you touch minimum. Let's say you have a big field. You don't want to walk the whole field. So minimum, you touch 3 places on the outside of the fence to symbolize, I'll do it. I'll do the job. And you only have to touch 3 places. But when you touch them, you have to really pause, and you have to be believable. You can't just touch it like, I'm touching the fence. The horse will go, that's not very believable.
You're lying.
And then you'll see horses get into the flow zone, which is just off that buffer zone, kind of towards, another 3 feet up from that area. And they'll just walk. That's kind of, they flow, they start moving, they move around, they get curious, they get playful, they do whatever. And if they drift all the way to the center of wherever that is, that tends to be the resting position. So it's a safety position. You can see everything. You can see where everything is. And the horse who drifts there first and stands still is usually your mentor. Because that one's like, I got the center. Here's the safe place to be. You all go run around and play. When you're ready to come home, here we go. We've got home ready for you. So it's interesting then to notice like where your horse tends to drift and what that means in terms of what they're offering the rest of the herd. And you'll have sometimes horses, like you'll have a mentor who's also got protector qualities, but sometimes you'll have a mentor who does not have protector qualities, and you really need 2. You really need 2 horses doing 2 different jobs. So it's kind of neat to see how they do or don't relate to the different jobs in the herd. And how if we understand what those basic jobs are, and we just walk through like 5 minutes, touch 3 places, I'm your protector, walk in the flow zone a little bit. Yeah, this is a nice place we could flow, we could play, we could do whatever here. I'm going to drift to the middle. Here's your safe place to be. I'm going to rest, and we're going to chill out. But if you try to rest along the fence line, you're resting on the job. You're sleeping on the job. And horses who know that you're trying to be protected will come and nudge you.
Yeah, like, nope.
What are you doing? You can't sleep on the job. Go to the middle if you want to sleep.
Yeah. Funny.
We've had so many people report back like, I used to like sitting on the fence. And once I told my horse, I'll be the protector, my horse calmed down and got like a lot quieter, a lot easier to work with. And then one day I went and I thought, I'll sit on the fence and watch my horse. And he came over and was like chewing on my shoe, like, what are you doing? You're out here, but you're not working. She shifted and she went to the middle and sat on like a stump or something. And then the horse was like, yeah, that's right. Go there. That's the place where we rest. So it's just kind of cool to see their perspective on the world. And I think we've been working a lot more with the found objects of the environment and how horses perceive different aspects of their own environment and how they interact with it. And just knowing what they're doing and how they're perceiving it really gives us an added, a one-up on the situation, because you can approach something and say, you know what the problem here is? The problem here is there's no safety object for them to identify with. And you can put something as simple as a bucket out there and they all go, oh, a safety object. And it changes the dynamic. And I was talking to someone and we were just talking, but I could see over her shoulder this young mare, this group of mares, and this young mare, probably a yearling, had been put out in this herd, and there was a mare who kind of gathered her up, and she was like taking care of her. But the whole herd wanted to come and greet her, and it was very stressful. And I could see there was a salt lick kind of close to the fence, and they were all orienting around the salt lick. And I said, Julia, stop talking. Can you just run out there and grab anything available? And so she had like an old muck bucket. So she brought an old muck bucket out and left it over there. And then they changed, and they all oriented towards where the muck bucket was. So there was more room to do the interaction, and the stress completely went away. And they all waited at the muck bucket for the yearling to come to them, because it was like, oh yeah, there wasn't a thing. There wasn't a thing for us to orient around. And it's like that.
It was so fascinating.
It was so amazing that happened.
That kind of like that started the ball rolling. That
we were like, wait a minute.
Years ago. Yeah.
This is cool beans. Because if you can just think about the shape of the horse's environment and the objects in that environment, how the horse is going to relate to them, you can mitigate a lot of their anxiety. There was someone who came to us who had a mare who was so stressed. She was an off-track thoroughbred, and she'd done things for years and everything you could think of. And horse wouldn't sleep. She had narcolepsy because she wouldn't lie down. And she was so nervous that she wouldn't go out and graze. Gates wide open. She won't go out and graze. There's like a mini who's her friend. He'll go, but she won't go. So she tried everything. And so I said, put up the safety objects, walk the fence, do these couple things. She sent me a picture 2 weeks later of the horse lying down sleeping. And then a week later after that, she's out in the field grazing. She just had to place objects in the right place and then go to those objects, touch the object. This is a safe place. This is a relaxing place. I'm going to relax here. And this is a protected place. Nothing's going to get in. And she did that every day for 2 weeks. And it totally changed the mare's life. So because the mare was just like, I don't know where she just couldn't make up that for herself. She couldn't figure that out for herself.
And also there wasn't another horse who could fill that role.
Right. The mini didn't do that for her.
A mentor or protector. So that's when you have horses who may not be able to settle. It's because they're missing one of the most important roles in the herd, which is their protector.
Right.
So therefore the objects can help fill in the gap.
Right.
Wow. So interesting. Just really interesting. And then, I'm going to just switch subjects a little bit. You guys have been doing a lot with heart math, haven't you?
Not heart math specifically. And also your vision, your
on our
video,
site, your video
froze.
Uh-oh.
Your vision, the vision of you.
Yes.
Froze. Hang on. That's weird. Let's see why it froze.
Yeah.
I hit my mic, but I'm alive.
Okay.
You're alive on your side? Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
You're alive.
I'll just make you big, and that way it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Oh, there. Now you're
Now you're moving.
Now you're
Okay.
So
I'll just be tiny in the corner here.
We've been working with Dr. Jen Juranic, who's a neuroscientist out of Houston, Texas, and we've been studying the HRV on horses and humans and the relationship between them to look for patterns of resiliency and basically is the horse regulating, is the human regulating, and are the two co-regulating or not, and what creates co-regulation and what does not create co-regulation. So that was the research project that we did for a year and a half at least. And we are still going through a lot of the data because we got like 30 hours of data, which you have to go by frame. So it's a lot. But the interesting thing about that is, like, one thing that came up when this horse began to be able to regulate off of Laura's nervous system, because Laura was the only, how we contained the research was only Laura interacted with this horse. I didn't interact with the horse. Nobody else touched the horse. So it was only Laura and this horse. And then the horse speak she was using was very simple, just like a greeting, basic
greeting and lead rope skills that we do with horse speak.
What's it called? Management, just daily care. So nothing exorbitant, nothing above and beyond. And because we wanted to keep, minimize all of the variables. So when he did start to source off of her, she would come in, she was doing deep breathing practices, different kinds of breathing practices to create a regulated heart pattern. And you would then start to see his heart begin to regulate, his nervous system, his heart and nervous system begin to regulate off of her pattern. And when it got really good, he would regulate off of her pattern, even when she left the barn and couldn't be seen. So she'd be out throwing hay, getting ready, getting them ready to go out. And he couldn't see her anymore, but we can still see both monitors because this is all being videoed. And so we can see what he looks like in the stall. We can see her coming and going from the barn. We can't see her when she's out because there's no video of that, but the monitors are there. And on the monitor, his HRV, his heart rate variability, which is the thing that's looking at his nervous system, is mirroring the movement and the regulation pattern of hers, which was astounding because it went up to, I think, 7 minutes one time that he maintained the integrity. He can't see her anymore. So that's just an entrainment. That's just a part of the nervous system that wants to entrain and seek the most stable nervous system in the group. And everybody borrows that nervous system. That's one of the things Dr. Jen taught us, is that the one with the most stable nervous system sort of loans it out to all the nervous systems around them. And that's what we've coined the phrase being zero, but that's really what it is. So when he started to regulate off of her, then he was able to start exploring filling in. So there was a few incidents that happened normal. You're handling a horse who gets stressed really easy, and he bonks her in the head, and there's moments, right? There's bad moments. But she would go in for a recap after, like let's check this out. Let's see, are we okay? Hey there, that was a bad moment, blah, 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 this kind of thing. And what was so fascinating is his nervous system, seeing her approach, started to create a regulation pattern, and hers wasn't, because she was still stressed about what had happened. And he got more regulated until hers did. And then he went and put his nose on her heart.
Wow.
So it was really, really cool to see what did it take to create that. And of the gestures that we offered, the interesting gesture that really had immediate intrinsic value for him was something called a hold hand, and aimed from head to tail and then back again very slowly. So it's called I see you. So the head, you sort of say, I see you. And then you take a breath. And then you say it again, I see you. And for us, we're just saying I see you because it's creating an intention. Otherwise, we're just like, I don't know, my hand is doing this. You have to have an intention.
Hey, horse, how's it going?
And we don't have we have a vertical body, and they have a horizontal body. So all they have to do is move a shoulder up and down to create the same effect, or move the height of their head up and down to show a flat surface of their body to represent connection point. But we don't move that way, and so we move this way. So if we put a palm up, it's a flat surface connection point. And we have clear intention. It says, I'm seeking connection with you. I don't want anything. I don't want to do anything. I'm not trying to fix anything. Just I see you. And you might even say, I see me. Some people then do that, and horses like that too. But that was the thing that had the most immediate intrinsic value. He went from being very high heart rate, very poor regulation, to receiving that message. And within about 30 seconds, he started to switch. His heart rate started to come down, and his nervous system started to improve. And this was only about 2 weeks into the project, when he didn't really know us. And so this can't be a trained thing.
And we only had him, I think, for 2 weeks when we started the project.
Right.
So he was a brand new horse to us. So it was really fascinating to work with him, because it was a neutral equine. And so we're really excited, hence why we're here just in the nick of time to start your webinar tonight. Because of weather, we actually are tomorrow instead of Wednesday, which is a whole day early to have 4 new equines arrive at your house with preparations to happen. Yeah. It's like, oh, surprise, they're coming a day early. Okay. So, we're really excited because we're getting 2 mini hinnies, Harry and Sally. And then we're getting Marcus, who is a donkey.
A standard donkey.
And then Lacey, who is a POA mule. And everyone but Marcus is untouchable.
Oh. So and how are they arriving? Like someone's putting them in a trailer and bringing them to you.
they're gonna do something.
They're at a rescue. So they're at a long ears rescue right now, and we interviewed them, and it's a great next level project because we get to see what resiliency building would look like with these. So it's called the Tale of Four Asses.
And I take it you're going to blog about this so we can all follow this?
Yes.
Blog. How are you going to do that? How are we going to find out the process?
We're going to do something with a video and
upload it to YouTube
and doing something with these littles and stuff. Yes, we're going to do. Yeah, we want to film it. So our farm name is evolving to Assland. And so, yes, we're really excited to have these new equines. And so when we can,
it just gives me so many questions.
Yeah.
Like, why did you decide to take on 4 in the winter?
Why
we took the horse on in the winter
That's
too.
when we got Bo.
This is actually when we're home.
Well, that makes sense. You're not traveling right now.
Right.
How's the weather there in New Hampshire? What you said that because of weather you're changing when they come?
Well, I mean, it's because we're getting a little bit of snow on Wednesday, so
the delivery
folks don't want to. They're traveling from a kind of a bad place in Vermont to get to where we are. So,
and how long have they been at the rescue?
About 6 months.
So not that long, really.
No, not too long.
They came from, I assume, a wide variety of situations.
Yeah. And they came in pairs. And Marcus, he doesn't feel that good.
He's old.
They're all old. They're all over 20.
Oh, okay. But the donkeys live a long time. So do mules.
They're grandma and grandpa babies.
Okay. I'm processing here. Okay, so
but Marcus doesn't feel that great, and they actually were thinking about putting him down at the beginning of winter, and Lacey is highly bonded to Marcus.
Oh.
And the other, Harry and Sally, live with Marcus and Lacey. So if something happened to Marcus, we wouldn't have really another option for a mini. So we're like, well, I guess we'll just get 4.
They're
small enough.
Okay.
It's like one horse, right?
Right, because they're little. All right, so they're arriving, and they're going to be an interesting. You're gonna video like every day. Just do a little diary.
Yeah.
The diary of the asses.
The tales of 4 asses.
That's right.
Okay, great. No, I think this is exciting. I want to be sign me up for those videos. I want to watch this for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. Lacey is a swift kick away from hitting you in the knee.
So you don't have a picture of them by any chance, do you?
We do.
Yes, just a second.
We do. We'll put it up. So it's real. I'm really fascinated because we do have.
Okay, so to screen share, you got to go up to that top menu there. It's the second one from the right.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So I've worked with long ears before. I used to work at a long ears rescue. For a while, I've worked with hinnies and donkeys and mules before, and they really respond very well to horse speak. But it's at such a different speed, and it's slower, more deliberate.
Okay.
You have to have a lot more sincerity in everything you do. I think that horse speak with long ears, the way you must do it with them is kind of the way you should do it with horses. Horses give you a lot of leeway. And they'll come back, they'll come back and say, try again. And donkeys, you kind of got one shot.
Okay, I'm sorry, Wendy. How does one share?
There's a menu at the top over your video with 4 buttons.
Yep.
The one, if you go to the right, there's a pencil, and next to the pencil is a screen.
Yes, I
got it.
This.
She found it.
There you go. Now, the thing is, you probably wanted to choose the screen that you showed. Because now we're seeing, there we go. Oh, good job.
So this is them.
Wow. Harry and Sally. So Harry and Sally, are they related?
I don't know. That's a good question. They might
They look, brother and sistery.
They do. Yeah. And they're hinnies. So hinnies tend to be a little bit more insecure, I've noticed, than mules.
Lacey has a very interesting expression on her face.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
Don't you just want to fall in love?
Yeah. Well, because what you know is underneath is a really cool somebody who's just, just protecting herself because it hasn't been so great. That's what that face says to me.
That is.
Oh yeah, we're not worried.
But Marcus says my life has been wonderful, and he loves attention. So
I love I like how his ears aren't even.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
whereas the other two, they look like twins.
I know they're wicked cute.
They do.
Yeah.
They probably are related.
Yeah.
So those are our new friends.
Awesome. Okay, so unshare your screen so we can see you again. So they're arriving tomorrow.
At some point, because actually the gal, I was like, so when are they coming? I texted earlier, and then about an hour ago, she's like, sorry, we had to put one of our donkeys down today and try to. I'm like, oh, okay. So I still don't know when they're coming.
It's okay. You're home, right? So does it really matter?
Oh, yes, we have our club tomorrow, so it could be a live club meeting with our.
It'll be a very interesting day, but we will be filming them like coming off the hopefully, if everything goes right. I mean, if we need an extra pair of hands, I mean, you'll probably set up the tripod or something.
Oh yeah, I brought home the tripod.
Oh, that's good.
I went to the office. Yeah. So it's really exciting. The other thing that I just started last week actually is the Horse Speak Book Club. And so it's a free thing. We're going to meet every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And we're basically reading the books, the Horse Speak trilogy, line for line.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be 30 minutes of reading. And anyone who would like to volunteer to read out loud can do so. And it was really great. We did one last week. I had about 30 people live with me.
You're recording these?
Yep.
And they're available
on, if you go to horsespeakacademy.com and go on to online webinars, you can sign up, and it's being recorded. So it'll be housed on the website of Horse Speak Academy, as well as actually I just made the one from last week live on. Okay.
So what you need to do is just put the link in the chat, which you guys could probably do easier than me because right now I'm trying to figure out where the heck my pointer went.
Yeah, no worries. So that's
really cool.
Yeah, because people I think a lot of people, two things. One, may not love to read or have time to read. So I am one of those people. So I love to be read to, though. So, and then, people want to read these books, but don't have the time. So therefore, yeah. And so, it's just a great opportunity. I'm also going to put it on our podcast, Horse Speak Chronicles also. So then there's many different mediums that one could listen to the recording.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that is in the chat now where you can sign up. So
awesome. Oh, somebody wants to know what's on Sharon's mug. What's it say?
It does have a naughty word.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
It says, a wise woman once said, I'm getting a horse. And she lived happily ever after.
Oh, cool.
That's
very cool.
You can get it on Amazon. And there's another one. We have another one. It says, I'm getting a donkey. So that was from Dr. Jen.
Yeah. And so how are you doing? What's new in your neck of the woods?
Oh, wow. So what's new? I'm leaving for Costa Rica on the 10th of Feb for 2 retreats. And in the meantime, I've been doing, I've got my new studio set up. I mean, way cool if I just shrink you back down. So I got this. And then I can go here, and then I can zoom in. So I've been recording. Huh? Yeah, I got a switcher. Oh, you want to see what's really cool? Okay, this is totally off topic, but I can go to my iPad, and then I can go and pull up, right? And I can go to iPad only and just, show you that. And then I can do Chrome and Canva, but I don't need to do Chrome and Canva right now because I don't have anything set up for that. So I'm doing these Murdoch video minutes, and I've recorded a dozen of them, and we're going to release one a week on the Murdoch Method YouTube channel, which is at Wendy Murdoch-EQ. because, as you said, people I listen to books. I can't sit down and read a book. It takes me too long. I'm a slow reader, right? Yeah. So I listen to audiobooks, and quite frankly, that's how I go to sleep at night. Is I feel like like little kids that used to read you a story.
She does too.
So I put my earbuds in, and I think it stops my busy brain, right? Because if I don't do it, my brain is just kicking over on all kinds of stuff that is not what I need to be thinking about trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, right.
So, so I listen to audiobooks, and so I'm thinking about doing some of my Murdoch minutes as a podcast. I haven't started yet. I don't know. What do you think about that idea?
I think it's great. I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if there's a visual, then, it doesn't really matter. You could put like a slide or something in the, in the description or what have you. And, and I think people just enjoy listening regardless. There are moments when I'm like, I have to pause this. What is he saying? What is it like? What is he showing? But, I think it's a great idea. Why not?
Yeah. So that's what I'll start doing that because I'll be away and I won't be in my cool studio. I don't know. I could, this is like totally off topic, but hang on. I can set up my iPhone. And so now you can.
I wonder if the podcast thing we have will do this.
I'm wondering too. Yeah.
Now you can see my way cool. If I just come way back, you can see my setup. There's my Stream Deck. Here's my iPad.
Look at you getting all
my cool lights, my mic. Yeah. So
congratulations.
I can hook up my phone to do that. Okay.
Well done. Nice. I love this.
Yeah. So, it's like it was time to upgrade, and you're the first ones that I've done this webinar on in this studio because I've been getting it set up. Anyway, this is totally off topic, but that's the way we roll around here.
Advanced tech is good. We're doing that too. We've got an office and we're setting it up with the right lighting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
because you have to.
Well, we all started out. I look back at the webinars in the beginning. Oh my God, it was like, but hey, just doing them, right? You just do them. And then you start figuring stuff out and you get better at it. And so what I want to be able to do is do a bunch of Surefoot stuff where I can do some videos and that sort of thing. And so that's really the next step is figuring out, I've got a portable system and how to take this on the road.
Ooh,
right.
Nice.
So that I can do the same kind of thing and do some filming and get more Surefoot stuff out there, which I've been working on.
Beautiful.
By the way, I'm curious, what do you think about long ears and Surefoot? Have you ever used
it? They love it. I've worked with donkeys and mules. Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I went and worked with I've forgotten her name, the vet that does a lot of holistic stuff. Anyway, she had 4 donkeys and I went in and it was just, it's a lot slower, like you said. And you just you offer it and you don't get attached to the outcome at all. There's a really good book that I'm listening to right now, because I don't read it. It's called The Let Them Theory. Have you heard of it?
The Lectin Theory?
The Let Them Theory.
Let Them Theory.
The Let Them Theory. And basically it's like, it's how I worked with the donkeys. You let them walk away from the pad. You let them not stand on the pad. You let them go with their friend. And so it's a really interesting theory. I've been thinking about it a lot lately in terms of, how we work with horses and the fact that when do we let them? When do we let them?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. And there's certain, with horses, there's always the caveat of, is it safe? Is it safe for the person to let them do certain things, right? Like if a horse is going to rear up at me, I'm not going to let them. He's where he can hurt me. But there's so much of what we do with horses that is not let them. It's tell them. And there's,
we froze.
Yeah. We're frozen.
Oh no, you're not frozen. You're not frozen.
Okay, good.
Okay, just to us. Okay, great.
Yeah, just to you, but you're not frozen. No. So, when I think about horse speak, I think that there's an awful lot of let them in horse speak in that way. It's like, let them go over there. Let them check that out. Let them, not have to face this. Let them walk around the other way. And I think you'll find I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, but it's really kind of interesting because I think right now, well, cats, okay, you have a cat, you gotta let them do whatever.
Yeah, let them.
Well, and
let them.
The word that I was thinking about as you're talking about let them, and the word that came in was guide them, because with the curiosity of horses, they can, if we say, oh yeah, I'll let you go and check out the thing, if the horse is on the more insecure side, that could make them feel even more insecure because they're like, mom didn't go check out the object first. And so it's interesting. We're like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's go check in with that. But wait a minute, like a toddler, stay back behind me as I go check it out for you. And then I'll invite you to come in.
So I think one is the core concept of feeling a freedom in yourself, of not having to micromanage every damn thing. And the other side of it is knowing what do they need you to do for them that they're looking for. Like we have this idea, and this could bring us into a whole other topic of what is leadership. And we tend to have a top-down dominance construct about leadership, but that's not actually how horses do leadership. And how they do leadership is that they are trying to provide safety and protection. So like when we got to go see the wild herds, right? So there's a couple of 300 horses that are wild, and they all have mini pods. So you have like a pod of 20, a pod of 10, a pod of 5, right? And they kind of stroll around loosely connected to each other. And what was really fascinating from talking to the game warden is that in these herds, you have a first and second stallion. You don't have just one stallion. And the first stallion is like the stallion. It's usually him and a mare that started this whole thing. And then you have a second that he brings on to keep the bloodline going, but also to give him so he can lie down sometimes. And so they kind of bounce off of each other. And the whole goal of a good herd of horses in the wild is the mothers need to eat. That's really the goal of a good herd stallion, is securing the environment so the mothers who are always pregnant and nursing and always have children growing up can eat. And if a stallion is too fussy or too aggressive or too whatever, the mares will get rid of him and select a stallion who's better and keeps them calmer, happier, and gives them more food. And so there's this one little video clip that we have, which I don't know if we could access it right now, but it's hilarious because there's a stallion who's like, all the mares, he's snaked at them, and he's like, we need to move off the road. And then he goes to this one mare, that's the lead mare, and he says, please, would you move off the road? And she looks at him, just gives him this deadpan look and does a tail swish. No, I'm not leaving my position. And it's because a mare who had recently left her band, was across the other side of a road, had just given birth, and was with that new stallion. So it was a new mama and papa situation, and they weren't managing very well. And they were both really stressed out because the brunt of the herd had crossed the road, but this new mama and new baby and new stallion were on the other side getting stressed out. So he stands there, and the camera pans away and looks at all these horses moving all around us. It's like being in this crazy, savannah herd of horses. And then it pans back to them, and he's still standing there by her side. Can we go now? And she's like, nope. And finally, she sends him down. We like a couple minutes later, we're in the car and we're leaving, and we drive by and we're like, oh, that's him. He crossed the road to go talk to that new papa stallion who had been starting to get pushy, like with the new mama, and he's starting to be like, I gotta get, he's trying to push mama and baby, and she's brand new and she doesn't know how to make the baby move, and it's all confusing. And so that stallion who'd been stuck there with that mare saying, no, we're not going, she sent him, you go fix that. And he went down, and he was like, you take it out on me. That is not, and at this this moment, they're having this argument, and we got it on film. And when we did the slow frame by frame analysis of it, it was amazing. This leader stallion, who's older and wiser, had martial arts moves that was to die for, and the younger stallion was just flailing all over the place. And the lead stallion's like, I could have killed you here, I could have killed you there, and I could have killed you there. Are you ready to pay attention? And he finally gets that young, frustrated stallion just away from mama and baby. Meanwhile, that lead mare had sent another mare to go fetch that new mama and her baby to show them where to go to get out of there. And so then he finally goes home to the lead mare. And as he's crossing, it takes him like 10 minutes to deal with the grumpy stallion and all that. And as this elder stallion is going home, he's tail swishing and looking at her like, can we go now?
Cut it out.
She's like, fine, you did what you were supposed to do. Yes, we can leave. But so it's really amazing because watching it from that perspective, these are mamas and papas. These are family groups. And all they want to do is make sure no one gets dead, no one gets
safety
eaten.
And protection, like we
safety
said
and protection.
The talk.
Right. So it's pretty profound. So I will be putting out some webinars that are going to be going over some of this footage, because it's when you see it frame by frame, it really changes your perspective. So
if one could imagine a healthy family system, then that's what a horse herd is. And that's
a good horse herd, not all horse herds, right?
Well, wild one.
Yeah. Okay.
Successful wild herds.
Yeah. And then when we have domestic horses, they're like,
who knows?
Because it's
foster care system.
Yeah. Because if they were in the wild, the horse people would go off into different pods because they would work it out and be like, this is a little clutch of people and this is a clutch of horse people. And so they naturally make a healthy family system because they want to be safe, have safety and protection.
Right. I think that's the imperative for all mammal. Just about everything. Life. Yeah.
Life. And if there's one horse who's really aberrant and acting out in bizarre ways, they maybe are inbred or they have a parasite or there's something going wrong. That's the horse that will get shoved to the wayside until nature takes its toll on them. In this game preserve, they will shoot a horse that's acting crazy,
which is very rare.
They've done it twice in 15 years.
Wow.
Only twice. Because the other thing that's really amazing is they try not to inbreed. They can smell their own family groups, and the stallions will actually kick out young fillies that if they don't have a second stallion with them, or the second stallion's not interested, or it's too close. They encourage some of the new band stallions that are coming up in age, like 3 and 4 year olds, to flirt with them, and they oversee. It's like chaperone the newlyweds, and we watched them do that. We watched this young stallion get chaperoned, and these two fillies came over to him and were flirting with him, and his job was to stand perfectly still and be a good gentleman. And those two band stallions were watching him, and he's standing perfectly still, and the fillies are sniffing him and flirting with him, and then they sort of flung their tails and walked off like, maybe someday I'll go on a date with you. I don't know. It was really something.
It was. The other thing that we've been up to since last winter, which I can't believe it's been a year already.
I think it has, yeah.
Was we had during our club, which we have the book club, which is free. The link is on the web, on the chat. But then we have our Horse Speak Club, which is going to be 5 years old in June. Incredible. It's $30 a month for the subscription or membership. And it's the Horse Speak Club where our members and their horses are the stars. And so we were able to feature, because these folks over in Oregon have fjords and they breed them.
Mm.
And we've been watching mama and baby videos. And watching mama be the consummate teacher. And we technically have 3 mares that we're going to be looking at for a webinar series starting next month. And so we have the 2 different fjord mares, and then I don't know what the other breed is.
Yeah, I know it might have been
but it was like the first minutes of birth and how, like after birth, and how the mama is talking to what we call buttons, the communication center on the horse, and like firing them up, really, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, waking them up, stitching them together, getting connection, not only mental, cognitive, like this is how you follow me, this is how you do, but also emotional. So she would, when she was pleased with what the baby did, she would touch the wither quickly with her lips, and then she would shake her head and drop her head down. And the baby would then imitate that and shake her head and drop her head down. So it's like, well done. Ah, breathe out.
Wow.
And when she would encourage the baby to like find her haunches, like find your butt end, right? And then she's working on that. And it was really stressful because the baby didn't know where her butt was. And the baby got really, really stressed out. And the mama just kept at it until she had a breakthrough. And then she immediately touched the withers and shook her head and dropped it. And the baby did it too. And then the mama stopped and just breathed into her nose for like a few minutes, just breathed and breathed. Like, now we do deep breathing. This is how you create resiliency. So we had a little bit of attention. We had, some focused attention. It was kind of intense. It was kind of a lot. And now that's done. Well done. Relax and breathe. And okay. And now we're going to try going forward, and so it's just amazing it's very well thought out. This is an educated mom. She's like her 8th baby. And she's not just waking up the body, teaching the body how to move, but also this is how we're going to handle intensity. This is how we're going to put it away. This is how I'm going to bring my cheek over your eye. That's a signal to follow me. I know you don't know that yet. So I'm going to actually touch you. I'm going to actually touch you and bump you a little bit to the side so you know what that is. And the next time I bring my cheek near your eye, you're going to know to move your eye with my cheek and start following. And she does it, 3, 4, 5 times until the baby does it. And then she does the same thing, touches the wither, drops her head, shakes it off. And the baby's like, oh, okay, it's a learning curve. So it's just fascinating to see how she manages the mental, emotional, and physical learning of the baby within its, how long? It was like 10 minutes of footage.
Yeah.
We probably spent 300 hours looking at this 10 minutes of footage, because and every time we're learning more. So we're going to
So I'm going to bring up something controversial then, that imprinting.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Knowing what I know now, I think it's not. I think that it served an interesting perspective at a certain point in time. I think it was interesting to think of, maybe we could get in there and be a presence in that foal's life and have an impact on that horse's mind. But seeing what I've seen with the
results of what has happened.
Seeing what I've seen with the mother building the intense communication system with the baby, I think anything that interrupts that could have fallout that we don't know.
And a lot.
At the time, we find out later.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Meaning like what I said with the results that we've seen with horses who have been imprinted with people is they don't have good manners and good social skills with humans. They're space invaders, so it would be possible, and we haven't done this, nor do we're, but it would be possible, understanding the gestures, postures, and signals that mama is teaching the babies, then we could perhaps maybe
I think letting mom do the job is
100%.
Yeah.
Let's say there's an orphan foal situation, or there's a situation where you have to engage for some reason, at least if you know. So in this breeder, the mare went and fetched the owner at one point the next day, about 18 hours later, and actually encouraged the owner to put her hand right where the mare wanted her to. And she touched the baby and she touched the owner's hand again and again and again.
It was so fascinating.
On the shoulder in a very specific spot. And the owner was so careful. She brought her hand to it, but didn't actually touch the baby. Didn't want to cause a spook, but she brought it there. And then the mare looked at her, and then she did the breathe, shake, and blow out, like, well done, human. That's the baby. You did it. Good job.
Oh, wow. Fascinating. Yeah. And so, I think that the life is about subtlety. And so often we're not in tune with the subtleties of things and the intricacies of things and the quiet messages of things, where we get kind of caught up in the loudness.
Yeah. Yes. And, the old masters say, and it's one of our mantras, is good horse training is like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
It's not sexy. It's not fun. It's not exciting. It's not some new thing every day. It's really, really regular. It's really predictable. And so is, when kids go to school, one thing I said recently is like, if your kindergartner comes home from school and they can't read Shakespeare, you don't get mad at them. You don't have that expectation. But we have this expectation on horses that, they're 2 and 3 years old and then they're competing, and it's like, that's like Shakespeare to a kindergartner. It's just so beyond them to be having this expectation that's not realistic. And I don't know how that's wormed its way into the mind. I don't remember it being so much like that when I was younger.
Well, futurity has existed. The concept of futurity has existed for a long time, certainly in the Western world. Mm-hmm. I think that it didn't exist as much in the English world. And sadly, I think that the financial investment in horses is partly what drives it. Because so a long time ago, I read a really interesting book by, I'm trying to remember the woman's name. Anyway, I was in Holland and I read it. And when I got done, I realized that you have time, energy, space, and resources. And when you look at different training systems in the world, you can see, like, the Spanish riding school used to have all the time in the world. Right. That has changed. But the costs have increased so greatly that we've truncated on the time. Mm. Also, the way life, like now everything is instant and yesterday. Right. So as a society, time has collapsed. Whereas time, when you think back of how long did it take for a letter to go from Europe to the United States in the 1800s, right? Yeah. Time was a very different commodity. Space was also a different commodity. Now where you can see in certain situations where, because you've collapsed space, there's different pressures, right? So what are horses? Horses are time and space, right?
Resources
and resources, right? And so if your resources are limited, then you have to start compromising on. I wish I could. I wrote this down and I can't find the notes that I made, but at the time I understood it completely. I could put every single training system into the matrix and tell you exactly what they compromised on or didn't based on that for the 4 quadrants. And I can't quite recall it all. Yeah.
I think one of the benefits that I've come across in some ways, when you start learning horse speak, time does slow itself down. You come back to a more moderated and usable relationship with time, because really nobody grows past the point that brains can grow. Like, brains can grow at a certain rate of speed, right? You can get educated at a certain rate of speed and not faster than that, really. Like, it takes time to learn something. And so when you're learning horse speak, there's a time investment in the beginning to develop the skills and the awareness to use your body as a language tool. But what we've found with a lot of people is that then on the flip side, it speeds things up, because you're not wasting time with a horse that's stressed out that you misinterpreted those stress signals. Right. Or that they're freezing and you thought they were fine. You're like, he's fine. And we're looking like, no, he's frozen, So you're not wasting time misinterpreting messages, and you're also not wasting time trying to settle stressed out horses all the time, because once you learn how they seek to be settled, and every horse is a little different, so we have basic blanket, try this, try that, try this, and then people will try the list of things to do, and their horse will say, this is the thing, that's the one, I want that one, I don't need the bucket, I just need you to touch the wall. and somebody else says, I touched the well, my horse doesn't care, but I give him a bucket. Oh my God, he's in heaven. So, you figure that out, and then that saves time, because then what is it that's going to create that sense of safety and security with me and my horse, so that we're getting to the good stuff, right? Because that's what we really want. We want to get to the good stuff, and we want to be able to get to the good stuff without sacrificing relationship.
And, it, like everything, like I watch people with Surefoot, and when they first start in the beginning, they don't get it. And then it takes time. It literally takes time and practice. And that's where you see the learning and the understanding happen. And then the recognition, and then the little lights come on but in the beginning, and I think so many people get frustrated with the beginnings because they don't feel successful or capable or smart enough or understand it, and that creates anxiety, because we're not taught it's okay, right?
And then you feel you're not good enough, and it's the power of the one thing. One thing can help the brain feel successful. Just one thing.
Yeah.
Especially in a new learning process.
If you set it up that way, if you set it up that I'm going to introduce one idea, one topic today. I'm going to see how that goes. The rest of what I do, I'm going to keep kind of normal. But the one thing I'm going to do, like with this horse Bo that we were talking about in the beginning, well, one thing Laura did, I see you. She did the hand gesture, I see you. One thing. And we'll go look at the monitor later and see what that one thing did.
Yeah.
We can interpret based on his body language, but nothing says it like the heart monitor, So when you look at that and you're like, oh, it really did have an effect. Where some other things like the greeting ritual, he reached for the greeting ritual and he performed the greeting ritual, but actually increased his stress. Even greeting other horses increased his stress.
Oh, interesting.
It was very interesting. And finally, over time, it decreased his stress and increased his sensation. There's a certain HRV thing that happens when it's a good feeling. This kind of like a blip, the heart goes up for a moment. And the HRV I call it a dolphin leap. It goes like, woo! It's like, there you are. Right? But in the beginning, it would drop and go like, oh God, oh no, I have to say hello to you. And then over time, that reversed itself. So that was neat to see. Like, he did the behavior of a greeting because he recognized it as a greeting, but it didn't make him feel good. It didn't make him feel good with other horses either. So that was really fascinating. Like, and we don't know exactly why that is. We just could observe that it was the truth.
Yeah. Well, ladies, it's 7:00. It's time for my dinner.
All right.
Yes, right.
But it's so great to see you. I don't know where are you gonna be besides home? Where are you going to be next?
We have a clinic coming up that we advertised actually with Lacey and friends. That is the 21st, I believe. It's a 3-day workshop, and then
21st of February
at our house. At our house.
Oh, okay.
And then in March we are heading. Shoot, I don't have my phone in front of me, but we are heading to Pennsylvania to do horse speak under saddle. We'll be going to Bluebell, Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
For that, yep.
Great.
And then we have a clinic in April at our house, and then May we're hitting Europe. We're going to Germany and Holland.
Oh, well, I'm going to be in Czech Republic and UK in May.
Oh, fun.
Maybe our paths will cross somewhere out there.
We can stop at Copenhagen and have a bite to eat.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, it's so great to see you, and it's so fascinating to just hear what you've been up to. So thanks so much for joining me tonight. It's such a pleasure to see you guys.
We'll sign up for another webinar. I have the link, so we'll do this again real soon.
Awesome. All right. Well, we got to follow those your new friends, your four new friends, right?
Well, now that I know that they like the Surefoot, but we do have the ones here, so I'm going to put some out and see what they think. So
yeah,
that'd be really cool.
Awesome. All right. Have a great night. Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.